So please welcome asset manager from Rockaway, Adam Bilko, and all the other panelists.
X-Files music.
Hey guys, happy to be here again. I think you all know my panelists, so I think it will be more about the topic. But anyway, guys, if you could quickly just introduce yourselves, say something about the project. Who is maybe your competition? That would be interesting. Counterparties you are dealing with. So I think maybe the general stuff people don't know.
Sure, I can start. My name's Fig. I'm one of the co-founders of Squid. And we do cross-chain swaps and transactions across chain. So you're able to get one token. If you have one token in your wallet on any chain, you can get any other token on any other chain in one transaction and in under 20 seconds. And you can also use that token to do whatever you want. So you could do cross-chain staking with any token, buy an NFT with any token. And we've started just with integrating with DEXs, so expanding their offering to be cross-chain. So most of them are just deployed on one chain, and then we allow them to expose their liquidity to anyone on any chain. And then we're really a UX layer where anyone can integrate a SDK or widgets to make their single chain application cross-chain. And we use Axelar. We're connected across 12 EVM chains and 30, 35 Cosmos chains, and using IBC as well.
So I'm Robert. I'm dev lead at Umi, which is the biggest Cosmos native money market. I think the only one which is like native, built on the Cosmos SDK. Right. I don't think we have competitors. I would like to say that we would like to work with.
That's great market then.
Right. I mean, of course, there are other lending systems.
Nolus is coming.
True. And yeah, I mean, as I was talking in a previous presentation, yes, unifying the liquidity is definitely way to go rather than fragmenting it. So I would really like to see that, we have that happening in one way or another.
Zaki, I'm co-founder of Sommelier. We are sort of an intelligent vault system, so think like Yearn on steroids, primarily targeting EVM chains for now, but our governance and staking and security layer is a Cosmos app chain connected to the IBC network. Let's see. So we have the highest ETH-denominated yield on ETH, and next week we're launching yield for Link and Uni and lots of other ETH-native assets. That's sort of been we've tried a bunch. That's sort of our product category that we've been doing a great job of. Is just sort of the best yield on your assets on Ethereum using Cosmos tech.
Okay, cool. So I was looking, and you were actually quite good in increasing TVL from the beginning, Robert and Zaki, and what is more important, I think, keeping TVL, because usually, what happens is just this kind of curve. So what is your, go-to-market strategy, and, how you actually do it? I think, it would be really interesting to hear your view on that.
Sure, I can start. I guess our go-to-market strategy has been, primarily focused, so our narrative is very much real yield. So SOM is a non-inflationary token. All of when we talk about yields on our assets, we're only talking about sort of when we talk about stablecoin yield, we're talking about USDC denominated yield, not SOM incentives on top of it. When we talk about ETH denominated yield at 15%, we're talking about ETH yield, not ETH yield plus SOM yield. So in general, our strategy for sustainable growth is delivering best-in-class yield products, best-in-class opportunities, the ability to make a thesis-driven bet but not have to manage it yourself. And then we are looking at very large cap assets and very scalable strategies. So the Sommelier real yield ETH strategy could easily absorb 100 million TVL without significantly impacting yields. And the arbitrage opportunity that is driving like the link yield strategy is like a multi-$100 million arbitrage opportunity that right now no one is taking advantage of. A lot of this works because like sophisticated money has like left the space, and so there's a really great opportunity for things like Sommelier. There's like a lot of yield and arbitrage opportunities on chain that just aren't being taken advantage of at scale under current market conditions. So this is sort of in many ways like it is hard because like fewer people are active on chain. People are very risk off. So getting them to like bring TVL in is like just like hand-to-hand combat. But once you get TVL in, it does tend to be somewhat sticky. The interest rate environment on the stablecoin product is not super attractive, but like real yield ETH has pretty much been up only.
Yeah, so for us, I guess like the market strategy is to build like the best in class like a place to park your money for like a long-term positions, and then like allow it to access all the different DeFi places. What I was kind of showing like in this DeFi v3.0, where we can really unify liquidity and make it more efficient, like really enable efficiency with like a capital access for various different other protocols, and maybe like hopefully using the aggregators, more smarter solutions, which can like really do it easily on an institutional level for various users. So yeah, that one, and security. Yeah, so we built with a security in mind. That's why like also we are enabled small cap assets. Of course, like the parameters are very strict for the, let's say, risky assets, exotic tokens, but this works. And like really long on the liquid staking derivatives. So enable all the use cases. And this is what we do. Like we are in fact like the biggest LSD market in Cosmos, money market in Cosmos for that. There will be more competition for sure. But I would say this. I mean, the way how I would see it personally is that as long as Dogecoin is in the top 10, right? And there will be like other marketing strategies which works better, and there are like other people in our team who will like experiment. But definitely like we are a little bit like position ourselves away from like milking our protocol yes, through various, let's say, farming strategies, and instead like have that safe park.
Yeah, our go-to-market has really been around partnerships because a lot of projects are built on single chains, and as you've had this explosion of L1s both in the Ethereum ecosystem and in the Cosmos ecosystem, you've got a fragmentation of users. They have their money in different places and can't access. It's like really difficult to access an application on another chain. People have been talking about it a lot recently, but there might be 10 steps, 30 steps. You have to go to a new website, which you don't know if it's a scam or not. And all of these new projects need to decide, rather than deciding the best technology for their application, they have to build where all the users are, because that's, they're a business, they need to get adoption. And so a lot of teams have been forced to build in, say, in the rollups where there's a lot of TVL, and rollups are great, but all of the teams, say, on the less adopted chains, need a way for users to get onto their application really easily. And that's exactly what we do. So we partner with as many applications as possible to allow users to get onto their app in a single click. And that might be just through, if you have USDC on Avalanche and you want to get Atom on Cosmos chain, you can do that in one click, or you'll be able to do very soon. And then the next step is to do not only that, but say go into a lending pool on Umi in one click from any chain. And we make that really easily with our SDK. So our go-to-market has been just partnering with as many people as possible, and it's been working really well recently. We've got partnerships with a lot of the major DEXs in the EVM world, and last week's been a huge week for us. Our volume's gone up a lot. But what I'm really excited about is we're about to launch full swaps in the Cosmos. So partnering with DEXs in the Cosmos to allow cross-chain swaps on their DEX, even if your user's just got MetaMask, say. And when we have MetaMask snaps in the Cosmos, you'll even be able to, you won't even have to download a new wallet. We're partnering with wallets as well, doing a lot of great wallets are doing both EVM and Cosmos. And we're partnering with them to do swaps within the wallet. So you don't even have to think about whether you're going to the Cosmos or to a new chain. You just get the token you want on the application you want.
Let me add to that. That's super cool. Yes, thanks to that we have a common stack. Like things which like IBC predominantly, and then even though that we are not focusing on the MetaMask, the fact that there's another team who will bring this experience, and is able to communicate with IBC and target all the other ecosystem. That's so amazing, right? And other way around as well, using the Cosmos stacks to target Ethereum, like what Sommelier is doing, right?
Yeah, maybe talking about the connections actually. Squid, it's basically based on Axelar, right? So, and when I was looking around and you see kind of Stargate based on layer 0, and you kind of see that basically they did more transaction in April than Axelar did since beginning. So how do you explain that, and why do you think that, or what is maybe their better approach and go-to-market strategy, or getting new users? So, is there some support you can get from Axelar, or what's your view on that?
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Well, so the first thing is Stargate's been around for over a year, so they've been growing, or at least they've been gaining adoption over a long time. I don't want to talk badly on anyone, but maybe I guess there's a difference in marketing and product. We've been very product focused. So is Axelar. They've been amazing at building really great products and have a really decentralized solution. And I think in the long run, that we've seen it time and time again, the more decentralized solutions will survive. And we actually saw that over the last week. There was an issue with multi-chain, which is a bridge provider in the EVM world. And I think their CEO might have got arrested in China or something like that. And suddenly all of the users had their assets frozen, or not all of them, but there were issues. And we saw a bunch of new adoption through that, just because we were one of the only, in fact, I think we were the only provider still running on one of these chains. And maybe we'll see that happen over and over again. And yeah, the same thing with our IBC integration. We believe that this technology will last forever, and that's why we've chosen to also integrate that. So, but I think there's definitely something we can learn from marketing. The way the Layer 0 team have sold omni-chain and their vision is really powerful. So I think Cosmos is really good at everything is cross-chain in Cosmos, and the vision is a core part of what we do here. But I think there's definitely some lessons to be learned.
I mean, where I was trying to get actually is that I think a lot of the volumes is driven by the expectations for airdrop.
Yeah.
So people are actually doing transactions exactly for that. And I think this is kind of one way how you can get users, because maybe if they try the product, because of that they can stick there. Some kind of liquidity. It's always base liquidity, which always stays on the protocol. So maybe Zaki, how you are looking at it, because you also kind of used the token at the beginning, to scale the project, and I think now you're decreasing, and the money are still there. So how are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, there's sort of this airdrop farming narrative that is a big driver of what's going on in the L2 ecosystem. But on the other hand, Cosmos, we have the challenge of, low liquidity on Osmosis. Cosmos assets are still not very well accepted on Ethereum dexes. So we have some on the Camelot dex on Ethereum or on Arbitrum, but still not seeing the volume is still primarily on Osmosis. And it's an interesting it's just been an interesting experience on a number of different levels. One is so we have a native ERC20 bridged version of the SOM token. We have in protocol the ability for governance to send Ethereum contracts, SOM tokens. So you have a governance proposal, it votes, it sends the farming contract directly the ERC, the SOM ERC20 token, which is is a pretty cool and unique thing. We basically have viewed, we view like tokens that we put as incentive as consuming a scarce resource because, some percentage of people who have been sort of providing liquidity or like using SOM's products are like, just like, selling the token on a regular basis. And that's a realistic thing. It also comes down to like how we think of like overall our growth strategy, right? Because when you have a swapping function, right? The trust that a user has to have in that swapping function is very bounded, right? You have token A, I want to go to token B, I have to trust the protocol for the duration of the swap. When you're using a money market or you're using a vault product like Sommelier, this is a much longer term trust environment, right? And so really to to scale the protocol to its potential, we need to communicate to the market that the protocol has custodied a significant amount of assets for a period of time, and we do have to sort of compensate people for the risk. And I think those are the roles that like the SOM token incentives play. Like there just isn't enough liquidity on SOM or like really any Cosmos asset to really scale TVL like you could in the bull market with just like pure token incentives. Instead, it's this very like carefully shepherded resource to sort of build the long-term viability of the protocol by like onboarding more capital, using those incentives, and like using that as a way of communicating to potential users that the protocol is becoming safer and safer to use over time.
Okay, maybe do we have some questions from the audience? No? Okay, so we can continue. Robert, in your opinion, do you think that like when you're looking at TVL, do you think that it's like more important for the TVL to increase to innovate or basically offer yield?
That's a good question.
What are the drivers?
Right, that's a good question. But can I like add anything, something about the barriers?
Yeah, of course.
Cool, very fun. I mean, let me add some spicy to this discussion. Like,
I'm
no,
all
really.
in.
Like, something which is very often forgotten is like, what is the major barrier? Like, if you talk with your non-crypto friends, what they will think about it? It's a scam, like magic internet money or whatever, scam. Doesn't work, like, farming tokens, airdrop, like, it will go down. It will all go down. Like, building these incentives, milking it, come on, like, what's the sustainability of it? I mean, we love it, right? But you need to exit at the right time. Who is exiting at the right time? Me, often not, right? But anyway, so I think, like, the major barrier, I would say, is the degen movement. I mean, let's face it. Like, really, like, we cannot get the right adoption, right? If we really, like, continue building with this, degen movement. It is degenerated. There is a word for that.
I think you actually see recently people taking it more seriously and like really trying to build like institutional products. So I think
yeah, exactly.
It depends on where you look. I think
you've seen it, but then you see the Peppercoin, which is like going to the top 50 in a week.
That's always will be there. I mean, it's part of the
Sure, but this is the narrative. Like we have like dominantly, yes, in crypto. Like when you talk with the random people in your community who's like outside of crypto, this is what they will think about, and we will not get the right adoption when this will be the picture of crypto. We are like amazing solutions. Yes, we bring the user experience. Squid is doing that. Sommelier is doing that. We want to build like this safe place for like really leverage the collateral. Yes, and build the money market, right? But and really like provide it for everyone. But as long as the degen narrative will dominate the ecosystem, that will be the barrier. What was the question?
Innovation versus yield.
Okay.
And maybe then I'll ask a different one, which maybe follows that, because we discussed it yesterday. So do you think that the yield in crypto should be higher than in TradFi if you kind of compare the same risk? I know that the risks are a bit different always, but like, do you think it should be higher or it should be?
I think the market should decide. It's really a game of the market. Like if you will like try to game it, yes, that's bad. So, I mean, today, like, also one of our narratives is that, like the blockchain solution should make it faster, cheaper, and quicker, right? So if you think that, okay, I mean, faster, cheaper, quicker, so yeah, it's cheaper. So by definition, then you should be able to provide more yield, right, for the investors, for the users. But ultimately, it's like really a game of the market for like long time.
Okay.
Well, I guess there's a couple of elements about, so sort of relating these things, right? The category Sommelier is building in is the category that succeeded the most in the last bull run, which is like C DeFi, right? Like people wanted to give their money to some entity that would like use DeFi, generate returns for them, and give them those returns. It's just every C DeFi thing rugged their users. Sommelier cannot rug their users. And so the way we think about like their early adopters, the degens, is like they are beta testing a system that like actually offers the kind of retail protections that we would have liked to have had in the last market cycle. And then like what we focus on is basically technologically driven yields. Like real yield is our narrative. Like our yield comes from superior technology. Like our technology allows us to take advantages of yield opportunities that like competing vaults like Yearn are not able to take advantage of. And so that's primarily what we're selling is like technologically driven yield opportunities.
Fig, do you want to add something or?
No, I have nothing to add.
Ultimately, intelligence will win, right?
Yeah, so maybe just Zaki to take it from there. You have actually decided to only kind of run strategies which are fully on chain, and you don't really touch real world assets or similar yield. Why is that, and what is the pros? What are the advantages and disadvantages of that approach?
Yeah, I mean, I think the question for Sommelier was, are there significant opportunities that like the Sommelier architecture is able to take advantage of? And like what we found, especially with this like current set of strategies and the strategies that are launching in the coming weeks, is that there are like major, like large scale opportunities in purely on-chain strategies. And so that's really where we're focused. Real world assets though are frankly of interest, but like they need to be formatted in a way that is compatible with the Sommelier system, because the real purpose of the Sommelier system is safety, right? Like ultimately, like Sommelier is multiple layers of safety and security. That means that like no one, like SOM token holders, Sommelier validators, strategists are able to rug their users. Like there's checks and balances at all layers of the system where there's like smart contracts that are defending against validator misbehavior. There's validators defending against strategist misbehavior. Like there's multiple layers of protection. And like that's the vision of Sommelier, is to like offer that like experience that Celsius was promising without the ability to like actually run away with your money.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Robert, last year on the Gateway, Brand was talking basically about cross-chain lending, that it's a huge innovation and it's coming to the market. But in the end, it seems like it's really difficult to implement. So if you maybe could talk about why, and I think maybe Fig can help with that, since they're doing all the cross-chain transactions. So can you maybe talk about it a bit?
Right. So I hope they will help. Please. However, like going directly, yeah. So in fact, last year we gave it a try to do some, like more cross-chain stuff, and it was hard. I mean, like during the hackathon, we've been like hacking on like having some, a cross-chain protocol, yes, to like really talk to our like lending system using Cosmosm, and I spent like a night, and it didn't work. Like setting up all these relayers, even though like I'm like a core engineer, I was like not really touching much like the core of the IBC stack, but SDK stack, so things were like seemingly like familiar. It didn't work, and the next day I was talking with Ethan from Cosmosm. I said, no, it's easy, as you will do it, and I felt bad. Oh my god, so I'm stupid. And then like on Sunday, the next day, I see the message from him at 5 a.m. in the morning, trying to set up like a cross-chain route between like for the mesh security demo, like seeing him having a difficulty as to connect on a Cosmosm 2 chains. I said, okay, I'm not that stupid. He didn't manage that. Right? So yeah, I mean it was, and I think it's still like we need to improve it, like to make it like easy, That's also like I think one of the promise Evmos is pitching, right? Okay, like they want to have this pre-compiled, so to allow like a simple call to talk one contract on one chain to another contract on another chain, right? Juno was like, I think like it was also like one of their main message. So yeah, I mean, someone has to build it, and then we'll ship it. Now we are like I mean, shipping the Cosmosm finally. So it will be there. It's not today. Hopefully soon.
Okay. Vic, we were talking and you basically said that you are able to do transactions within 20 seconds cross-chain. So I think this is like amazing selling point. How are you actually going to leverage it? Because I think the overall user experience with Squid, it's amazing. I tried it, it's really cool. But how are you actually planning to promote it and push it more to the people so they would know? Because I don't think that people normally don't know that.
Yeah, yeah. It's been really interesting just getting the swaps live to the market because I was banging on about this we were building for 6 months before we launched, and some people kind of got it, but no one really got it until we showed them. And I think it's almost pointless talking about it until we just need to launch and have examples to show. So we'll probably do an integration with UMI, even if it's just a proof of concept, just so people can see this is possible. Because yeah, I think explaining it is just. You can say we're going to solve like the user experience of everything, and you can do this, but yeah, we're very close as well. So we'll just launch it, I think, and show people. I think the 20-second thing is really important as well because in the roll-up world, often takes 20 minutes to do a transaction across chain, and that's not really an improvement if you.
Maybe a week.
Yeah, well, in 7 days, right? But yeah, that's something which we think is like really important as well. Getting it down to as short as possible and working with like I think intent's a really interesting thing where maybe we can even get it shorter than 20 seconds down to like instantly, and then you really have that full abstraction.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe do we have some questions from the audience? Yeah. Cool.
I think we must compare apple to apple. So if I depositing money to bank, to CFI bank, basically I'm getting insured because if device staying behind the bank and can cover my losses, Silicon Valley Bank or another bank will fail, so I can take my money back. But I'm uninsured, so I think maybe ecosystem can, like Cosmos, can play a role of if device or can provide some capital, insurance capital or something, incentives for underwriters.
Okay. So the question is, when I deposit money into the bank, I get kind of insurance from a state that if the bank defaults, I get money back. Can Cosmos do something like that and offer basically the same service, for users who deposits into, lending protocols, DEXs, and the Cosmos ecosystem?
They're doing it, like, in many of the, like, where there was many hacks, like the foundation, right? They try to, like, provide a help, right? But, there you have, like, organizations which are doing institutional level insurance for the protocols. And, like, come on, with a bank, like, 100,000. If you're, like, an institute, or even what, like, is it 100,000? Something like that? That so depend on the country. In Switzerland, it's 100,000, right? So, yeah, I mean, if you park 100 million, 100,000 doesn't change anything.
I think there is. I mean, this is an opportunity for like Atom Economic Zone, for instance, like ideas to sort of propagate this.
Okay, cool. We have time for last one question. So if nobody has, then
Just wanted to cover something.
oh, okay.
Cool. Just wanted to like call for more strategists to build on top of Sommelier. Like we have a team here, the Algo Labs and Block Hunter team. They run validators, but they also launched a strategy on top of Sommelier. Just an example that like anyone can do it. So if you have ideas for like arbitrage opportunities, like we have a team that like helps onboard. So most people don't realize that like anyone can launch a strategy on top of something.
Actually, my question was exactly around that. Do you have something to say to finish the discussion and basically maybe call for action?
Yeah, unify liquidity. Let's do it.
Try a swap and try out our SDKs. See if you can make a single chain flow cross chain and really easy.
Okay, thank you a lot. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and we can finish or talk more outside. Thanks.